This little piece of rope. What I might use after is a spoke shave just to get really took in how dull this edge is. Alright guys, John from Farm Hunters, and I have a very, very cool video for you today. It's not fishing, it's not a hunting video, so you're probably wondering what it is. I wanted to change things up a little bit. I wanted to start a new web series called Farm Hunters Workbench, and it's seriously just going to be covering a bunch of DIY projects that the average person can do to enhance their fishing, hunting, or outdoors experience. And the first one I'm going to do is the restoration of an old hatchet. And this is it. The actual sheath that it comes with has a name on it, and I read it and I know who it is. It's the man who built my cottage 40 or 50 years ago, and the guy that we bought it off of. He built it all himself, so I guess this went through a lot of use and abuse. The edge is obviously completely dulled from years of use, and unfortunately the back, if you can see those little indents, was probably and unfortunately used to hammer in some nails. I'm going to bring you guys along for the ride, and I really hope you enjoy this video. If you like it, there's going to be a whole bunch more coming your way. So don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. So by all means, I'm not claiming to be an expert on axes or hatchets or restoring things for that matter, but I can get around in the around the workbench, and I know my fair share about axes and how they work. A lot of my information actually has come from the Wranglerstar YouTube channel. Be sure to check him out. He's awesome, and he has lots of information for restoring stuff, building things, and he's just an all-around handyman, and he's great. He lives on a homestead. You gotta check him out. He's cool. Anyways, so the first thing we're gonna look for is if we're gonna have to replace this handle. We're gonna look for the grain orientation, and as you can probably see, if you can ignore that and the name, it's actually not bad. It's all in the same direction. There's not any knots or anything along those lines. There's no imperfections along the wood itself, so I don't think we're actually going to need to replace the handle. Maybe I'll just sand it down and give it a nice coating of linseed oil, so I don't think we're going to have to do much to that. Okay guys, so this marks the beginning of the hatchet restoration project, and as you saw, I just took off that unnecessary grip tape. I don't like it. It usually gives me splinters as I use a hatchet a lot. Next, I'm going to take out this low grit sandpaper, approximately 600 grit or maybe even lower, or in that ballpark, and just start sanding away at it. And then I realized that there's an O-ring in the bottom of it, so I'm going to take that out to make sanding easier. And I'm going to put it in after so I could put a string or a power cord through it, something along those lines, so I could hang it off my belt. And in terms of sanding, I get progressively to a higher grit in order to make it more smooth, more comfortable in the hand, more ergonomic. And you're going to see that in these upcoming clips. So as you guys can clearly see, I'm just doing one base removal of varnish and other things like that, just to get out any nicks in the wood or anything along those lines. As you can see, I then changed to the sanding block, which is also about 600 grit, a lower grit, to remove a lot of the stuff. I use the block because it helps designate the sanding to certain contours of the axe. What you see me doing here with anything sharp like a pen or a nail is I'm just removing the sawdust from the crack where the hatchet head meets the handle. And then I just continue sanding with the sandpaper, the sanding block. I kind of just switch between the two, and then I blow it off to see what my progress has been. So here guys, I just pull out a nice wooden rasp, also low grit, closer to 600, and then I just use this to round out the edges of the butt of the hatchet handle. Then I polish this up or finish it off, once again with the sanding block, just to go ahead and smoothen everything out, make sure no one gets any splinters or anything like that. And that pretty much finishes up the base coat of the sanding process. Okay guys, so stay tuned for the next video. This is where we're going to do the nitty-gritties of the sanding, make sure the handle's done. We're going to start working on the hatchet head,
We're going to take off all that blue paint, give it a nice good polish, and then pretty much just give it a nice edge. Finish off the hatchet entirely on the next video. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and see you guys there.